We all have budget breakers, these things in our financial life that make us feel like maybe we're taking 1 or 2 steps forward just to take 1 or 2 steps back. What are these budget breakers and how can you avoid them so that you continue to make progress in your finances? I've got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. As a certified financial planning practitioner on a team of CFPs and a multidisciplinary firm where we've got health insurance experts, tax experts, insurance experts, and so on, got a chance to participate in a lot of really fun, creative, complicated financial strategies over the years. And things like selling businesses, yep, we've helped with that. Starting businesses, yeah. Saving up a significant amount of money, investing, various investment strategies, advanced tax planning strategies, mega backdoor Roth, all those sorts of things. Lots of really creative things. Legacy planning as well. And if you were to ask me, Mike, of all those really creative and fun things and throughout your career and just sort of working with your other CFPs as they serve clients, what's the one thing that you've seen make the biggest impact on people's financial lives for their financial freedom and achievement of financial goals? There's no question. There's no question. It's what we call the 3 bank account system. It's an operating system for your daily, monthly, annual, and ongoing cash flow. And that might sound, really, really simple, but the analogy that I give, football analogy, is this is the blocking and tackling in your financial life. If this is done well, then you can execute the long play, the Hail Mary. You can do a lot of creative things when you do, when you're good at blocking and tackling. And so financially, if you can do this well, it's going to set you up for some of those fun things: starting a business or selling a business, saving up a lot of money, achieving your financial goals, advanced tax strategies, legacy planning. If you don't have the right operating system for your cash flow and your financial life, then it's very possible what I'm going to share with you right now, these budget breakers get in the way from that financial progress you're trying to make and get in the way from you being able to do some of those creative or fun things, or maybe even just having the financial freedom that you want. So what do I mean by a budget breaker? These are expenses that come up every so often, but they are not on your radar. It's something that is probably a need. You can't say no to it. And it's not something that comes up all the time. Otherwise, you'd be prepared for it. But it wasn't on your radar. And because it's a need and not a want, you have to say yes. You have to, pay the expense. But financially, you're sort of shuffling things around. It creates financial stress. And again, it leads you to, well, I feel like I was making progress and now I just had to take a couple steps backwards, because when this expense comes up, it's not on your radar and you end up pulling money out of any reserves that you have, an emergency fund, and you use your emergency fund for something that's not really an emergency, and then you're caught off guard, or it just creates financial stress. Or you're using a credit card, right? Which actually means you're going backwards financially and it's costing you more simply because this wasn't on your radar. What are some examples of these budget breakers? I'm assuming you're thinking of a few, because these are the frustrations in our cash flow, the pebbles in our shoe, that sort of thing. And I'll just share a couple real life that are going through in the Bernard household right now. 1, new tires on the vehicle. New tires on the vehicle. I've used this as an example before, but it is happening right now. Where we live, we get all 4 seasons, sometimes in the same day. And so we've got icy weather, snowy weather coming up. And I know Cindy's car needs new tires. And financially, that shouldn't be a big surprise. Her vehicle's, I think, at 56,000 miles on it. Yep, typically tires last 50 to 60,000. That's it. This shouldn't be a surprise, and yet it only happens every 4 years, 3 years, depending on the situation. That's one. What about a major home repair? The garage doors are not broken, but they are falling apart. I'm just being serious. No one gets excited unless you're, a decorator, designer. No one gets excited about putting new garage doors on their house, but These things have been rusted since we bought the home, and now they are in disrepair. They are falling apart. And the decision is, well, do we just wait until one of those bitter cold days when this thing breaks and then we're scrambling, or should we actually get new ones? We haven't decided yet, but that's on the docket right now. Life insurance premiums, just got that. That's not a small expense. It does come up every single year, but was it on our radar? And then the last one, middle child had his second travel basketball practice and decided to break his finger. Actually, it wasn't his decision at all. And of course, as the type of dad that I am, I'm like, you just jammed it, buddy. Just pull on your pinky and get back in the game. And I could just tell this one wasn't normal. And ended up needing to take a picture of it, get the X-ray, and it's broken. So there's some out-of-pocket medical expenses that weren't in the budget. So each of those are sort of, I would say, needs, right? The only one that's not a need is the garage doors, but it's really soon going to become a need. And my guess is, for the past several years, we've had a stretch or two during the winter where it gets to negative 20 degrees or something like that. I'm certain these will not survive those conditions. And so that's the only one that's not a need. And the rest of them are. When the life insurance bill comes due, you better pay it. Otherwise, you're not going to have that life insurance. When the kid breaks his finger and for a couple of days is just in excruciating pain, you can't say, you know what, just suck it up. Well, we kind of did, but after enough days, we finally said, okay, we'll go get the X-ray and we'll figure this out. These are all needs, but they're not things that happen every single month. So here's how we plan for them, and here's how you should plan for these as well. I mentioned earlier, it's the 3 bank account system, and these expenses, these budget breakers, fit squarely in bucket number 2. Let me share the framework with you. Bucket number 1 is your immediate spending, okay? And this is your checking account, where you've got income coming in automatically, direct deposit, hopefully, but then you've got all your monthly expenses coming out automatically as well, right? And it's good to have a budget, or at least some sort of just layout of, this is how much money we expect to come in every single month. And these are all of the monthly expenses. Here are all the fixed ones, the mortgage, the car payments, those sorts of things. Netflix, it's going to happen every month. We know the exact amount. And then here are all the variable expenses. They're going to happen every month, but the amount may vary a little bit. So could be the utilities, could be grocery bills, could be going out to eat, those sorts of things. But these are all the monthly expenses. And it's good to lay that out. We often suggest in Excel as opposed to just starting in a budgeting app, because in Excel you can see everything, okay? So that's bucket number 1. Bucket number 3, I'm going to jump to there. You're familiar with that one as well. And that is typically a money market account that's FDIC insured, fully liquid, and at no cost. But then hopefully you're getting a high rate of return, a high yield money market, where you've deposited some money for a rainy day, or for a cash reserve, or for an emergency fund. And you should start with 1,000, but that doesn't go very far. You want to get that up to 3 to 6 months of whatever your bucket number 1 expenses are, monthly expenses are. And so that's your emergency fund, okay? Are getting new tires an emergency? Is an X-ray and a cast an emergency? A big surgery, that would be. But, $400 for a couple of doctor visits and a cast and all that sort of stuff, is that an emergency? I don't think so. Getting new garage doors, is that an emergency? It could be, hopefully not, right? Life insurance premiums, is it an emergency? No. So it's not in the monthly budget, because you don't need to replace the garage doors every month. And hopefully the kid's not breaking his finger every month, right? But it's not an emergency, because we could have seen these things coming. And so that's where that bucket number 2, we call it delayed spending, where you've proactively listed out, here are all the non-monthly expenses that I need to be prepared for. So you've got things like the annual insurance premiums, or the every so often car repairs or home repairs. You've got maybe a down payment on a house, or maybe some fun things like a vacation or Christmas coming up, gifts, those sorts of things. And you lay all that out, you total it up, and you divide it by 12. And that 1/12 amount you fit into that budget, that immediate spending, where you transfer money from that immediate spending every single month over to this delayed spending, so that when these items that should be on your radar screen but maybe aren't on your radar screen, when they come up, you've got the cash available, and it doesn't break your budget. Because here's what's at stake. If it breaks your budget, what do? You either go backwards with credit cards until you break, or you say no to saving as aggressively towards your future financial goals because life today is just too expensive. Guys, if you don't have the right approach with these budget breakers, with this 3 bank account system, with how you manage your cash flow, all of your financial goals are at risk. Not just the ones like right in your face, but all the future ones as well. Work with your certified financial planner, get the right structure in place for managing your daily, weekly, monthly, annual cash flow, and be on track and stay focused on those long-term goals as well. Work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.